Welcome everybody, it's Andrew, and today we're gonna talk about 5 reasons why you should never, ever talk to the police. Now, we all know the 5th Amendment, the right to remain silent. That's one of the Miranda rights that's read to you. That comes from the 5th Amendment right against self-incrimination. Now, what is self-incrimination? That is the right not to speak against yourself in a way that would incriminate you for a crime, that would show that you are guilty for a crime, both while you're in police custody and when you're in court. Therefore, in court, you have the right not to testify. When you're under police custody, you also have the right not to talk to the police. So let's get started on 5 reasons why you should never, ever, ever talk to the police. Number 5, it cannot help. Now, despite the good cop, bad cop dynamic that 2 cops might try to play, or what they might try to tell you that they'll take it easy on you, it can never help you. I know lots of state attorneys, police officers, public defenders, and whenever they're talking about an individual who's accused of a crime, never have they ever said, "It was so lucky he spoke to the police." No, that's never been true. It's always been a situation where when they've talked to the police, that's led to them saying something that hurts them. Never have I seen an individual who's been accused of a crime, let's say robbery, talked their way out of a crime through their persuasiveness. That's not gonna work. More likely, you're gonna say something that's gonna trip you up and end up making you liable. And another important point, under the hearsay rule, which is 801(d)(2), anything that you say to the police officer that might prove your innocence cannot be used. It will be objected to as hearsay. Only statements that the police officer makes that tend to lead towards your guilt might be used because you are the opposing party. You are the opposite party and they are trying to convict you. Reason number 4, speaking to the police hurts the innocent. That's right, it hurts the innocent. Now, many of you know there are some ridiculous laws. There are federal laws against catching an overweight lobster. There's also federal laws against your dog barking and disturbing wildlife at a national park. I'm serious, look that one up. And the second part is, many people end up admitting to crimes they didn't even commit just to get out of the situation. The police could say, look, just enter into this lesser crime. Just admit you're guilty of, let's say, reckless driving, and we'll let you out of a higher charge. Let's say it was a DUI. We'll let you out on this lesser charge. Well, let's say you're truly innocent. You don't want to admit to anything. A lesser charge is still a charge that you're innocent of. Therefore, talking to the police and ending up being in a situation where you're admitting to a lesser charge is not something you want to get into. And now, reason number 3. Speaking to the police hurts the guilty. I know, hold on. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking they're guilty. Andrew, come on, they're guilty. Don't we want them to speak to police and admit that they're guilty? Now, they do say confession is good for the soul, but I think everyone is entitled to a fair shake, is entitled to a fair defense. 90% of federal cases end up pleading guilty. And if everybody is going to plead guilty, why rush to get there? Why not work out a deal that is advantageous to you? Why talk to police and admit your guilt when they're giving you nothing in return? You're not getting a fair deal. You're not getting a deal that most people get when they end up talking to police. And that's the problem with not having a lawyer or having a bad lawyer. What you should look up is an experienced lawyer who specializes in your area of law in your specific state. Once again, always consult with a local attorney because laws vary wildly from state to state, even within localities. So always remember to consult that attorney before you even consider speaking to that police, even if you are guilty. Reason number 2, unintentional lies. When you're telling a story, oftentimes you just get carried away. You could say something inadvertently. If you're being asked about a robbery at your neighbor's house, you might respond to the police, I've never been there. I've never been inside. I don't even know the guy. I've never met him. Oh, they caught you on that last one. You got so caught up that you said one lie. That lie alone is enough to put you in hot water. You've got to remember, lying to police is also a crime. Here in Florida, we call that false information. So therefore, just giving that statement, I've never talked to him, when they can turn around and find out that is not true, that might be enough to put you in hot water. Reason number 1, even the truth hurts. Okay, now I know you're gonna really question me. Andrew, how could the truth hurt? How could it possibly hurt if I came in and told them the absolute truth and it absolutely showed that I was innocent? Well, there's 2 reasons why. Number 1, it could be framed in a way that doesn't benefit you. Let's say we're talking about the neighbor and the robbery once again, and you told the police, look, I never heard from the guy. I may not have liked him because he played his music loud, but I would never rob him. I would never do that. I'm not capable of that. I don't go anywhere. Well, in court, they might take that statement and say, well, officer, was there anything they said that would lead you to believe they had a motive for this crime? I said, well, yes. He said he never liked him. Now, that's taken completely out of context. It's not taking the whole of the sentence, the whole of the statement, but it's framing you in a bad light. Let's look at another side of it. Let's say you said something inadvertent that hinted at the nature of the crime. For example, let's say it's a murder and they're asking you about the details of the murder. You might say, look, I'm a nonviolent guy. I would never hurt anybody. That's not in my DNA. Look, I don't even own a gun. I don't even know how to use a gun. Well, in a moment of court drama, they could place the officer on the stand and say, did anything suspicious come from that conversation? And the officer could say, yes. He mentioned a gun. We just mentioned a murder. We never said how it was committed. And they might tie 2 + 2 together, and that could lead to repercussions. Therefore, you simply don't want to put yourself in that situation. The Supreme Court has said that we too often assume that the Fifth Amendment is a tool only for people who have committed wrong, only for the guilty. It is not a tool for the guilty. It protects both the guilty and the innocent. And therefore, I would encourage you all, take the Fifth and do not speak to police. Now remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this episode, please leave a comment down below or any suggestions you have for future episodes. But until next episode, this episode is adjourned.